Dr. Marks is a psychiatrist of over 20 years and a successful YouTuber with over 1 million subscribers. I was really excited to have her on the show, and we dug into topics pertaining to mental health for content creators. Things such as how to deal with negative comments, how to deal with comparison, how to deal with that 1 to 10 scale that you see every time you upload a video. Plus, we talked a lot about just her and her life as a YouTuber and juggling her business and YouTube. Hello, my name is Erika Vieira. I'm a YouTube strategist and coach, having helped thousands of women behind the scenes through my Zero to Influence YouTube Bootcamp, my one-on-one YouTube coaching, and my strategic channel management. On this show, I interview well-known female content creators like Dr. Marks, where we together pull back the curtain to reveal what it's really like to be successful on YouTube. Now, if you're not subscribed to her, make sure you do that because I have so many interviews coming your way. And leave a comment. Let me know what you think of the interview. Mwah. Well, hello, Tracey. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here talking to you.
I am so excited to have you. I am familiar with your content, and you just have so much incredible, helpful, valuable content on YouTube. So really excited to dive in. And for you, as a psychiatrist for over 20 years, what is your best piece of advice for content creators to preserve their mental health?
Well, I would say actually it's a couple of things, and to this first part is so unoriginal to borrow from Simon Sinek, which is to start with your why. I think that it's huge that the content that you're creating has a bigger purpose than making you famous or getting tons of views and things like that. If those are the things that drive you, I don't think you'll last too long, because you got to make sure that you're all the way behind what you're doing in order to last through it. So making sure that you have a really good reason why you're doing this can make you be able to kind of stay consistent and stable through the ups and downs, I know we'll probably talk about this later, but through the 10 out of 10 videos that you get, or where you created something, you thought people would like it and it's not getting that many views, all that stuff. If you've got a bigger purpose than that, than just getting a lot of views, then it doesn't matter as much to you. And then the other part would be making sure you take care of yourself and not overextend yourself for some bigger purpose, like trying to make sure that you grow really fast or get a certain number of views and whatnot. And I know that it's very common for people to want to produce a lot of content so they can grow faster. So daily content. But I think, I don't know how people do it.
That's tough.
Work, so I can't do that. But even if I tried to just kind of go all in, so to speak, and do nothing but create content, I still couldn't do it every day. But that's just me.
Yeah, that's tough. So it's like that burnout effect and really affecting like all areas of your life.
Yeah. You got to have some balance.
Yeah, and I know with content creators, it's hard because you want to grow, right? And, even YouTube themselves, I know with the shorts especially, right? Because I'm on these meetings for YouTube because I have a channel that, I grew using YouTube Shorts, which is similar to, TikToks and Reels and all that short form content, right? That's so hot. And even YouTube says, upload every day, even a couple times a day. That's the best way, to grow for these shorts. And people say that with TikTok. And as creators, I do think like, ooh, how sustainable is something like that?
Yeah, I don't know how people not only sustain the stamina to do that, but even have enough creativity or just things to talk about and keeping it fresh when they're trying to produce that much content. And I guess if you're just trying to look at putting out volume, because people will promote this idea as well on TikTok as well, of just kind of put it out there, just tons of stuff and see what sticks. Okay, then you don't have to be so bothered about the stuff that doesn't stick and you're learning something, but you're still all that churning. I just don't know how you can keep it fresh and keep yourself interested if you're just kind of just keep going and going and going. And you never really get to enjoy the fruits of your labor because it's always on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So there's a balance between, or I guess it's a trade-off between wanting fast growth, which actually I'm not even sure why fast growth. Like, why not? I think if you can kind of pull back a little bit or dial back and enjoy the journey, you're only going to learn so fast. And with the slower growth and experience and seeing what works, what doesn't work, I mean, there's that whole process has some value too, versus just kind of putting out stuff to see what ends up, so that you can grow really fast. Because sometimes people aren't ready for fast growth. If you follow other like YouTube experts and whatnot, a lot of people will talk about making sure you're ready for a viral sensation. Mm-hmm. So if you get a lot or a mention, sometimes that's not a good thing to actually have a bigger YouTuber shout you out. Then you've got all this attention to your channel, and you don't have a way for people to, you don't have it monetized, or you don't have a way to even handle that kind of fast growth. But I'm going down on a tangent. So sorry, I don't want to get you off track from what you really want to talk about.
No, I love that. And it's so true. I actually am a huge believer in that. I say that all the time. It's like, you don't necessarily want to go viral super early because, when you're exposed to so many people and you don't have your best content, or maybe you don't have that much content, it's like it's almost a missed opportunity. So I fully agree with you. What about this big issue? I know this is a huge issue with content creators, is comparison, right? Like, so many people are always comparing themselves against other creators in their niche. Or I've even found, like, even friends, they're like, oh, I told her to start a channel or a TikTok, and she started after me, and now she's, has way more subscribers than me or followers. How do you handle that and kind of keep your sanity around that?
Yeah, so I struggle with that too. So my content's mental health education. And one of the things that I feel good about is that I have not let myself veer toward creating sensationalized content for the purpose of getting more views. And it's very tempting sometimes to do the Psychiatrist reacts.
Mm-hmm.
That's more edutainment. And there's nothing wrong with having an edutainment channel, but that's not what I do. But it's been tempting to want to go in that direction because that'll get a whole lot more views for me. And so on the one hand, there's looking at what people are doing, seeing what trends are, seeing what people are interested in, so that you can stay relevant, and so that you're not totally just kind of going off on some tangent of stuff you want to talk about that no one's interested in. But at the same time, so there is some utility in looking at what's out there, but it can be very destructive to your own path if all you're doing is comparing, because it can be very it can really be discouraging to see, well, she did it. So for example, let's just use me as an example. This person did a video talking about anxiety, and that video got 500,000 views. Why did mine only get 10,000? What did I do wrong? It may have nothing to do with anything that I can control. I can't control the algorithm. I can't control what views, if that person's video got connected to a certain suggested algorithm. I can't control any of that. And so trying to control that stuff just depletes my own creativity and enthusiasm. And I think it also shows when you are trying to look like someone, adopt someone else's style, because, well, they're getting these kinds of views, and they're growing faster than me, so let me see if I can talk about the stuff they're talking about. But if your heart really isn't in it, and that's not really what you should be, that's not really what you click with your audience, then it's going to come across that way. And then you still don't meet your goal of just trying to be like that person or get as many views or as many subscribers as that person. And so I think that's that kind of chasing numbers and comparison stuff is not only demoralizing, but it also leads to burnout because you're putting forth all these efforts that really aren't getting you to your end goal.
Yeah, I think well said, because it's the burnout and the inauthenticity, like not being authentic and looking at what everybody else is doing. I think it's very, like you said, it's very tempting. You know, it's you see, and people encourage it too. It's like YouTube's like, look at the trends, look and see what's happening, look and, you know, what are other people doing in your niche that's doing well. And it's all good advice. It's solid advice, right? But if you're looking at something that you're like, okay, she's doing this and it's like, she's killing it, right? Okay, you know, she's in my niche, I should do that. But like, I don't want to do that. Okay, but I'll do it anyways. But I don't really want to do that. I don't, like, it doesn't align with me. It doesn't, but I'll do it anyways. You know, it's kind of that tug of war, which it sounds like you've experienced yourself as well.
I have. And another tug that I've experienced that I have to admit, I kind of go on one side of the fence too far. And that is doubling down on stuff that does work. Mm-hmm. So I do have a problem with this. In my own head of, well, I said that once, so I don't need to say it again. So I'm moving more toward the idea of, so what?
Yeah.
People, they liked it when I said it the first time. They want to hear more about it. I can talk about it again, and it's okay if I say something that I've already said 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
And so I still struggle with that idea. But at the same time, another concept is, if you want to grow fast, look at what's doing well and just make a whole bunch more of it. I would, if I let myself I would feel trapped if I were only making popular content on my channel and just keep churning out the same stuff over and over. I would get bored and I wouldn't last. I mean, yeah, maybe my views would go up and I'd grow faster and all of this stuff, but I don't think I'd be very happy. So I still need to make some of the videos that I know will be 10 out of 10 because they're not that popular, but they're still useful because my purpose or my why involves creating a library of information, educational information that people can use that's evergreen. And it's not just trending. Again, nothing wrong with having a trending channel if that's the kind of content you make. But going back to how do I stay in this and keep being excited about this, my why, I have to focus on my why of producing information that's helpful for people, whether it's popular this week or not.
So out of curiosity, what are the videos for you that you know are like, oh, this is going to be a 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10? And then what are those videos on the other side? You're like, okay, I know this is going to be a top 3.
Yeah. So things talking about psychosis or schizophrenia. It's not a very, there aren't a ton of people with schizophrenia. So likewise, there aren't going to be a ton of people watching those videos. So I know that that's going to be low, and I'll get requests. Can you talk about this again? Or can you talk about this particular topic? And I'll just know, I know that's not going to do well. Now, that doesn't mean I won't make it, but it also, because I know that it'll be a 10 out of 10, I'm not going to always make that. So because I've also learned the lesson of, sadly, if you have too many videos in a row, or at least this happens with me, that don't do well, it's like all the impressions across all my videos go down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why would that be? If these videos were doing well over here, the more popular topics, anxiety, ADHD, why would me making 2 or 3 videos in a row about psychosis make the algorithm not show those other videos? Don't know. So on the one hand, I'm not going to exclusively make stuff that's popular, but I'm not going to let myself go too far down the line of making unpopular content, because then when I turn around and make something that should do well, it ends up not doing well and people don't see it. because the algorithm didn't show it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I try and mix and match them.
Yeah.
Things popular and things that aren't, just because I want to round out the information.
Yeah. Yeah. We've touched on this, but not talked about it, but that scale, that 1 out of 10, that 10 out of 10, and that obviously the highs that come with the little confetti when you get a 1 and then the lows that come with a video you've worked really hard on and it's a 10, right? How do you manage that? And being a psychiatrist, like, how do you suggest people manage that part of the process?
Well, so, I'm not always, I don't always follow the ideal. The way I've managed it personally is I've stopped getting too excited about the confetti. I mean, it's nice, but once if I check and then I see the confetti and I think, oh, great, and then I don't look anymore. Whereas maybe like months ago I would have kept looking. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. But because I know that the next one probably will not get confetti. And so, because I'm just not that lucky to have that many videos back to back be number one. Mm-hmm. And when I get one that scores low, I just accept that. And again, I don't look. So the way I do it is I just don't look that much, because I don't want to get too caught up in that, whether it be really good or bad. And just keep moving forward with my plan of action of creating educational content. And so to keep from, at the risk of sounding like a broken record, I think, what's one way most people could handle this is by still staying focused on what you're trying to do. Now, I do think that's harder for the person who is chasing trends and making trending content, because you do have to care how popular something is that you made. And okay, but I think that's a harder thing to navigate. But then you've just got to realize this is the route you've chosen to make content that's popular. And so learn from that. You've got a lot more work to do to keep yourself ahead of the curve of popular stuff. And so, if something ends up being 9 out of 10 that you thought would be really popular, I guess you've just got to change how you do your keyword research to find the next one that's going to be on top.
Yeah, I mean, key research or even the content itself, and I think it is even harder. That's a good point that you make. It's like if your whole goal is to go after these trends and it's not necessarily 100% in alignment with who you are, what you want to do, but you're doing it because it's trending and it still doesn't perform well, I think that's it's a stronger blow to your psyche, because you're just like, oh, well, not even this is working.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I don't know how people manage that, because I'm, that's not how I do it. But, looking at maybe other platforms, what's trending on Instagram, what's trending on TikTok, try and bring it over to YouTube and have that. I don't know how people find what's on top, but, then it becomes also, is it just the delivery? Can you change the way that you do your editing or, things like that? And I still look at those things as well, too. I'm always looking for ways to improve the delivery. I try and talk faster. I'm a slow talker, but I try and talk faster. I try to get my editors to cut out dead space or pauses for me to just make it snappier. As a talking head, that's one of the downsides of a talking head video is keeping people interested and not having people drop off, because if they drop off, then the algorithm says, oh, that's not a good video, so move on.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I'm always looking for ways to improve my audience or viewer retention, and that's irrespective of is that a popular topic or not. I've kind of got off on a tangent there, but yeah, I'm always looking for ways to improve the delivery, which is one way. That's what I was talking about in response to if your videos, especially if you're one who's looking for trending information, or trying to find popular videos, if you're not meaning those results, maybe it's the content itself or the way you delivered it.
Yeah, definitely. And then that becomes a hard thing too, even from a mental health perspective of like, oh, it's because of me. People don't like me. And that's the other thing I hear. It's like, well, maybe I'm just not likable. Maybe people just don't like me. You know, it is hard with YouTube because it's you. You're the product. It's not like, oh, I created this scrunchie and people don't like the scrunchie. It's like, okay, well, I'll create a different one, right? It's like, you know, I created this video around me, my interests, but people don't like it. Oh, it's me, and now like I suck as a person. I think that's what makes even being a content creator in general. In some ways, it's an incredible business model these days, right? There's so much opportunity, but I think that's one of the big, almost mental health challenges surrounding it. It's you're the product.
That's right, and I think one of the ways that I've addressed trying to not take things so personally, that I'd recommend other people do too, is to disconnect from the process and the outcome. You put all this personal work into it, but it is an algorithm. So yes, you can have regular viewers who come back, and that can influence how well that video will do if your current viewers are coming back to look at it. But there's still a machine behind this that you can't control. And so whether it be this or other aspects of life that, you know, can affect us mentally, pandemic issues, war, all that stuff, is focusing on the things that you can control and not attending so much or worrying so much about the things you can't control. So, and I know people say that a lot at this point. It's almost cliche to say that, but it's the truth. We can get very focused on, well, you know, how can I get the algorithm to do it? It's an algorithm. And hopefully, I do think there are some things you can do to help steer it in a certain direction, like increasing your viewer retention, starting out with a better hook to keep people watching, because if too many people drop off early, then the algorithm will not work in your favor. But still, even above all of that, or beyond all of those efforts, it's still some aspects of it that you just can't control, and you just have to accept that. And it's not you. It's just the way it is.
Yeah. And what about negativity, like negative comments, the haters, the trolls? Like, do you even get that?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I started going regular or consistent on YouTube in 2018, but I actually probably first posted my first video around 2010, maybe, I think as early as I can remember going back. So I had several false starts, and the main thing that scared me away was the hateful comments. And, you know, this was before you had to log in to comment. You could just completely anonymously just say whatever you want. So there were some really nasty racial comments and stuff like that way back in 2010. And I was like, forget this.
Yeah.
So, you know, that scared me away.
Yeah.
So anyway, when I started back in 2018, there were still, interestingly enough, I had more negative comments back then than I do now. Maybe now I just don't see them, but I don't know. But still, I'll still get you're just a shill for the pharmacy, for big pharma, which I don't even really know what that means. But and I think people say that don't really know what that means. But anyway, you're just you're this and that and the other, or the people who hate psychiatry. Sometimes I'll get you said this word wrong, you're putting out wrong information, and you're dangerous. That'll be, I think, trigger words that some people will like to use. Dangerous. So, you know, and my skin has thickened over the years. And in fact, probably back in around 2018 when I first got restarted, I was like lashing back out at people when they would say stuff like that. And someone in the comments who I knew was kind of regularly following me said, yes, this guy's a jerk, but I just don't think you should say that kind of stuff back because it makes you look bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought to myself, yeah, you're right. My thinking at the time was, I'm a person too. Why can't I say mean stuff like you're saying to me? Let's
Mm-hmm.
just go at this. But I said, no, I need to be the bigger person here. I'm not going to say these kinds of things. So, we just kind of suck it up. So I've gotten better at hearing and reading some of these things and even responding respectfully without meaning to go there too and be insulting. But one of the things that I think I've had some resolve with is that there will always be people who need to knock you down a peg or two, or at least feel like they did, in order to feel a win or gain for themselves. Some people are just built to feel a loss whenever you experience a win. So if you say this wonderful thing happened to me, instead of them actually feeling good for you, they feel like they lost something, even though they don't really want whatever it is you got, but it just feels like there's this scarcity mindset of goodness in the world. So if other people have good things, it must mean I'm not getting something. Mm-hmm. So to even the score, they need to insult or demean or jab to feel better. And so there will always be people like that, and you will never make those people happy. Probably 5 years ago, if someone said, made some criticism of me, here's a concrete example. So I made a book announcement video a couple weeks ago. Very proud of that video.
Yeah, congrats.
And someone said, it would be good if you would have given some more useful information instead of just pushing your book.
And how many videos do you have on your channel of useful information?
Exactly. That was my answer. I said, I've got over 200 educational videos.
Yeah.
The purpose of this one was to push my book. And that's all I said. But additionally, and I'm not going to feel bad about that.
No.
There will always be people who want me to feel bad about that. So knowing that I will never make everyone happy, then that's fine. You feel this way. Mm-hmm. So that's been a lot of growth for me because probably 5 years ago I might have been like, okay, you're right. Mm-hmm. I shouldn't have been talking so much about myself. No, I'm going to talk about myself for a change.
Yeah. I was going to say, you don't talk about yourself at all on your channel. Like,
right.
You give so much value. Like, you're not vlogging like, here's a day in my life.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For myself.
Yeah. So that's.
I get a lot of I don't even do a lot of brand deals because I'm not a good salesperson, actually. Mm-hmm. And so I'm not good at pitching stuff as it is. Mm-hmm. So because of that, I don't want every video to be a commercial first and then now let's talk about what I really want to talk about kind of thing. So anyway.
Yeah. Even, someone like you, that you have an incredible channel and you have so much value that you're providing, right? You still get, like you said, I think it's the nature of your niche as well, about the pharmaceutical industry and all that stuff. I mean, you still get the hate. It's like, no one's immune to it. Everyone gets it.
Everyone gets it.
Yeah.
Everyone gets it. Yeah. So if you kind of just remember that there will always be some people, not just one person, there will be people who will have to say something negative. So just expect it, welcome it, because also if you never hear anything like that, you probably aren't, you're probably not saying enough significant. So there will always be critics. You won't please everyone, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. Let people criticize. That's okay.
Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit more about your channel and your process specifically. So do you work outside of your YouTube channel? I think you mentioned earlier you work a full-time job still?
I do. So I still have a practice. I'm in solo private practice.
Wow.
I have cut back. I started cutting back in 2021 to write the book that I wrote.
Okay.
So I had to block time out of my schedule to do that. Once I finished writing, I had this empty space that I have not filled up because I want to do other things. If I lock up all my time with just appointment after appointment, I can't do anything but just have appointments.
Mm-hmm.
So I am trying to kind of pivot a little bit in the way I spend my time and not just have it be, 9 to 5 jammed with patients all day long. But that aside, so I'm not taking new patients, which has given me room in my schedule, but I still see my current patients that I have. So that takes up, maybe half of my week is still patient care.
Wow.
I haven't let go of it yet. And even though I'm not seeing new patients, I still have to maintain them. So this idea of, going full time or all in, I still have this that I need to take care of my current patients.
How come you've made that decision to not go all in on your YouTuber full time? I mean, you have a really large platform. I know you said offline we're talking about, TikTok too and Instagram. What's your kind of mindset around that?
I've just been too chicken to let go of my steady income. I still don't trust. People will say you should not put all of your eggs in the AdSense basket, and I get that. So I see how, if you have some really good months, I see how people get pulled into, maybe I don't need to work. But you have a down month, then you're out of luck. I know that there's other ways to make money. Courses. Yeah. I'm not a course person, and I don't want to do a course. I am considering or wanting to do. I'll probably start a Patreon because that is one way I can address this issue of. I have other stuff I can talk about that I know probably won't be very popular on YouTube as a video, but it's additional stuff that I can give to people. So if there were something like that where I could be supported and allowed to just be free to just produce whatever and not think about the algorithm, that would be ideal for me. So until I kind of get that worked out in my head how that would work, I'm headed that way. But up until now, I did not want to trust online efforts. I still have an office that I'm paying, rent for.
Yeah.
So I still have a practice that has expenses, and I just haven't been brave enough to just let go, I guess.
Yeah. And for your YouTube, other than AdSense, are you monetizing it in any way? Like, are your patients now, do you take virtual patients, like people that find you from your YouTube channel, or is it very much like a local kind of in-person business?
So it's still local in person because state licenses require that the people you treat that you have a license in the state,
in that state
where they are. So I have done consultations. So it's not treatment. It's just, we meet one time. It's a one-off, maybe two-off. You get my opinion, but I'm not providing treatment. I actually did that, a lot of it in 2020, 2021.
There's a pandemic and, nothing's in person or?
Right. So, my patients are all virtual. Okay, so that's one thing. But then I allowed people who saw me on YouTube who don't live in Georgia to have an appointment with me to get my opinion. But I got way too full with that because that sounds nice that I can just fill up with that, but it's still my time. It's still $1 for hours time. And so there's only so many hours in the day. So I still, that's not a great model for me to just kind of, again, fill back up my schedule with one-to-one appointments all day long. But yeah, I did do that where my YouTube channel brought in consultations for people all over the world, and I did get very busy doing that, and I got too busy doing that. So I put a pause on that.
Got it. And then your book, what is your book about?
It's called Why Am I So Anxious? So it's about anxiety. And so I will say I'm very proud of how that came about because it's a major publisher and they approached me because of finding me on YouTube. So I didn't have to kind of pitch to a literary agent and then have them try and sell the book to a company. Although, had that not happened, I don't know that I would have gone down that road of, I want to write a book, so let me get an agent, let me try. I'm not sure that I would have tried that in the first place. But, to have this happen is just huge for me.
That is huge. When does the book go live?
It goes live August 16th.
Wow, exciting. Are you going to do like a book tour? Like what do you do for that?
I'm not sure yet. So I am going to have like a virtual book tour, so to speak, of being on different people's podcasts and shows and things like that. And that's probably the new way to do things now post-COVID. So I don't know what's, so this is a traditional publisher, traditional publicist and things like that. So I don't know what's in the works for me yet. I probably have another month to see what's going to happen.
Well, that's exciting. Congratulations on that. That's huge. That's very exciting. What other opportunities have you gotten as a result of your YouTube channel? I realized the power of YouTube way back. So I said my first video was probably 2010. It was probably before that because sometime around maybe 2007 or 8 or so, a producer from the Dr. Phil show contacted me about the possibility of this. I probably shouldn't talk too much about this, but like they had this plan of, this show idea that they had, probably kind of similar to The View or The Doctors wasn't on network television at that time. Anyway, that didn't pan out, but I got a few more things like that, television opportunities that didn't pan out. That's okay, but they found me through my YouTube channel, and I wasn't even producing that much content at the time. So I was like, wow, this really is powerful. And so when I actually did get back to it in 2018, the reason was for completely different reasons. Before that, it was, maybe something television-wise could come out of this, seeing how it kind of almost did. Now, I'm over that, the television thing. But still, when I think about other opportunities, there have been other documentary-type things that I've been involved in where they found me on YouTube. That's cool. All right, Dr. Marks, we're heading to the end of the interview, and this is the section where I ask everybody the same questions that comes onto the show. So kind of like a fast round of questions. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. So what is your number one struggle with YouTube?
Probably keeping up the pace, and I only do once a week. But you put all this work into the video and that week goes fast before it's time for another one. I usually do it in batches, but sometimes if I get behind because of other stuff going on in life, it can be stressful, feeling like, okay, I don't want to miss a week, and so I got to have this and that and the other. So that's probably my biggest struggle.
Do you have a team that helps you? I think you mentioned you have an editor.
I do. I have an editor. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
This is year 5 for me. I've probably got an editor year 3.
Okay.
I was doing it all myself before then.
Oh, wow. I'm sure it was a nice relief to not have to edit your own videos anymore.
Yes, it was. I mean, I did miss it. That was part of my creative process. Actually,
you liked it.
Painting for me. Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it. I was learning animation, all this stuff. And so it was hard for me to hand it over, but that was the best thing I could have ever done.
Yeah, I'm sure. If you were to start over right now, what would you do differently?
I don't know that I would do anything differently, actually. Yeah, I wouldn't do anything differently.
What is your highest viewed video on your channel, and in how much AdSense did you make from it?
Oh, okay. I think my highest viewed is a video, I forget the title, but it's on skin picking. And skin and body picking. And I think it's about a year old. I think I did it in early 2021. And it has a little over 2 million views. And last I looked, I think I made about 14,000 from that.
Nice. What is your favorite video that you've created on your channel?
That's hard to say because each and every one feels like, oh, yes, I love this. And then again, here's the next week, here's the next one, and I move on. So I'm probably unfairly skewing this toward the more recent videos, even though I've got over 200. One of the ones that stands out for me is a recent one that I did on ADHD and motivation. I really enjoyed the research that I did looking into that and finding out some things I didn't fully understand that became clearer as I did the research. And I think it was also very helpful for people. The second one is, and I swear I'm not just doing this to push my book, I swear, but the book announcement video that I did a few weeks ago, mainly because, well, one, the content, I enjoyed talking about what I had in the book, but I returned to doing the editing myself because I had a specific way I wanted it to look, a certain amount of graphics and things that I wanted in there. So I did all the graphics, and I was rusty, so it took me a while, but I enjoyed getting back in and doing the editing.
Well, that's awesome. Have you ever just wanted to give up on your channel? What happened there, and how'd you get back on track?
I haven't felt like I wanted to give up. I have felt like I wanted to pause. And that was related to my father passing away. He actually was in a couple of my videos. And I just thought, what's the point? I mean, I guess I just went through a low point and felt like I don't feel like rushing to produce another video. I had a few in the can, but when it came for me to produce new stuff after I used up those, I thought, I don't know if I want this pressure of every week I need to make sure I have something, or else my channel's gonna die because of the algorithm. But I just kind of came up from the ashes and got out of that, and I'm still here.
Yeah.
I still enjoy my why, which is every time I do a video, even one that's not viewed as much, medication videos fall in that category as well. Not everyone's interested in a video talking about medications, but all it takes is for me to see a few comments saying things like, "This was so helpful. Now I understand XYZ." Then I'm like, this is why I do this. So I don't care if there's 1,000 views. This is why I do this.
Yeah.
So that's the stuff that kind of pulls me out of any thoughts that I could have about how long am I going to do this? How long can I last this?
Yeah. Did you actually take a break, or did you have enough content that you didn't have to actually take that actual break on YouTube?
I had enough content that I did not need to take the break. But I'm still not beyond yet the idea of if I feel too pressured, then I will take a break. Because one thing that did for me, that experience, was kind of make me take a look at the things that are important in life. And even though my why of educating people gives me a lot of pleasure, still at the end of the day, for me, it's about relationships and the people in my life. And I don't want to let my life of ambition and doing things keep me from being connected to the people who matter to me. So I won't like let myself not spend time with people because I got another video.
YouTube channel, yeah.
Yeah, my YouTube channel. So I still don't see myself as completely out of the water of saying, I'm falling behind, and I'm just going to let myself fall behind. And if I still have not missed a week yet, but I'm okay if I do.
Yeah.
That's where I am right now.
You haven't missed a week in how many years?
So this is 4.5 now.
Oh. Well, that's consistency.
I have been consistent. If anything, I've been consistent.
Yeah. And have you always had the schedule one a week?
I have always. There's been a couple of times where I had maybe squeezed in an additional video, but for some reason. But and that's maybe happened like 2 or 3 times in 4.5 years. But for the most part, it's been one a week.
Wow. Is there any video that you were just super excited about, but it just bombed?
The video that comes to mind for me for that is a video that I did on what not to say to your LGBTQ child. And I was I was excited about that because that's the only video that I had like that on the channel. Actually, I did a transgender video the week before that, and so that was kind of a new area for me to talk about, but I thought it would be super helpful because it's such an issue today. And so so I was excited about the impact it could have, and it totally tanked.
Oh.
The transgender video did fine, but that one for some reason just and that was one of my first experiences with seeing how, like, my channel was doing, however many views a month, and then I had that video, and then all of my impressions went down across all my videos. So even ones that were popular or doing well right before that video, now all the videos weren't doing that well. I was like, what happened?
Oh, man.
Did I offend the algorithm here? And so I was really surprised by that. And it probably took me a month to come out of that hole.
I was going to ask you that. So, yeah, how'd you get back out of it, or how long did it take?
Yeah, it took about a month, and I just went back to my regularly scheduled programming, and I schedule in batches, so it's not like I looked at that and went, oh, I can't do that again, let me do this. I mean, I had already had videos that I had scheduled, but, I just kind of went back to my usual content, and it just eventually recovered, but I never understood that. And even if, I don't know if it's still up there now, but if you were to go look at me on Social Blade, and look at my views or even subscribers, because they're both about the same, you'll see increase, and then and then it goes back up. And that dip was that darn video.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Yeah.
So anyway, weird to me.
Yeah. What is your superpower that you think has led to your success as a content creator?
I'll call it my strength and not my superpower, but I think my strength has been my ability to explain things to people and have them in understandable language. So take complex topics and make it understandable. And I'm basing this on what people tell me. I knew I enjoyed explaining things, but it's not like I went in saying, I'm good at this, so this is what I'm going to do. This is what I enjoy, so this is what I'm going to do. And that's the consistent feedback I've gotten.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, your videos are very just easy to understand because it's complex information, and I think for the type of niche that you're in, a doctor, or these types of professional niches on YouTube, right? They've got these professions, a lot of education. I found that the people that are really successful are the ones that are able to just synthesize all this information and make it very easy for just the regular, layperson, not with all that education to understand. So, yeah, I see that. What is your number one piece of advice you would tell somebody who is just starting out on YouTube?
I guess I would say I think it's very helpful to listen to your audience. And I know that can sound very generic, but once you start getting kind of a cadre of people following you and giving you feedback in your comment section, first of all, pay attention to your comment section and respond to everyone, especially when you're starting out. I probably it was at least a good full 2 years or almost 2 years of answering every single comment until I just couldn't do it anymore. And I still feel bad about that. I love reading people's comments, but if you're getting 2 comments on a video, don't ignore those people. They took the time to say something to you.
Mm-hmm.
And so the more you interact with your audience, the more they'll interact back with you. And that's how you can get ideas about what to produce, what people like and don't like in a constructive way, not just the mean stuff. We talked about mean stuff, but people can also give you very constructive information about, anything. And so, so I've kind of said a couple of things here. I guess I'm thinking out loud or thinking while I'm talking. The advice out of that is to build a community through interacting with the people who are interacting with you, especially when you're first starting out.
Yeah, community is huge for YouTube. Well, Dr. Marks, thank you so much for coming on to the show. I really enjoyed having you and for you just sharing your knowledge about YouTube and mental health. I know the viewers and listeners are going to love this. So if anybody's not familiar with you and your content, where can they find you?
You can find me on YouTube. It's Dr. Tracey Marks. That's Dr. and then Tracey is with an E, Tracey Marks. I'm also on Instagram, same handle, Dr. Tracey Marks, and same on TikTok. And then my website is markspsychiatry.com.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. This was wonderful.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed that interview and you learned a lot from it. Now, if you have a YouTube channel or considering starting a YouTube channel that you're serious about growing and you want the best of the best when it comes to personalized feedback, advice, and up-to-the-minute YouTube strategy, then consider my Zero to Influence YouTube Bootcamp for Women. I have been running this bootcamp since 2018, and we have hundreds upon hundreds of very successful students that have gone through the program. And I can go on and on about the YouTube Bootcamp, but I want you to hear it directly from some of the women themselves.
I feel so lucky that I got to do Erika's boot camp.
Before I joined the boot camp,
Before joining Erika's boot camp,
my channel was all over the place. I didn't know what I was talking about. I would hear people say that I need to find my why and my voice and my audience and understand my target audience, but I never felt like I really understood what that meant.
Erika helped me come up with YouTube video ideas. She helps me with consistency. She helps me to interpret my analytics.
I started with 12,000 subscribers and now I have over 50,000 and it is growing rapidly.
My channel has grown almost 100,000 subscribers.
I definitely wouldn't have gotten to this place in such a short amount of time without Erika's boot camp.
What makes Erika special is that she has been talking to and analyzing YouTube channels for years, and that has given her this bank of knowledge to pull from.
I'm constantly asking her questions about YouTube. I'm asking her advice about my YouTube channel.
Taking the Zero to Influence YouTube Bootcamp was one of the best
decision I could have ever made for myself, for my channel, for my own personal growth as a human being. I could not be happier.
I love that it has reinvigorated me in such a beautiful way. So I am so happy that I've joined.
You're crazy not to hire her. Get on it. All right.